Yeah, just getting started with this stretch-oriented class. Put this together specifically for some of the staff at the JCC because y'all have been working so hard and spending a lot of hours at maybe not great ergonomic setups at home and a lot of hours on the computer and, from what I understand, Zoom. So feel free to text in anything that you feel you may want to go over that needs a stretch. I'll be doing glutes, a bunch of hip flexor type things because those tend to get dysfunctional from sitting so much. Same with IT band, and then some neck things and loosening up the low back and pelvis. So let me see. I'm hearing you can't hear. Maybe if somebody else can let me know if they can or can't hear other than Ollie, that'd be great. And the props I'm using, I've got a Gertie ball. It's kind of squishy. If you just have a couch cushion or something like that, that's fine. I'm also probably going to throw the foam roller in here every once in a while. If you don't have one, we'll work around it. You can also have like a long towel that you'll lie on your spine. It'll just help open up your shoulders and your, oh good, Maureen can hear me. And thank you, Karen, you can hear me too. Okay, let's start standing on up, because I always like to start with a good old standing roll down. Just starting hip distance apart. You can be up against a wall and then peel off that wall one vertebrae at a time. Just let your head and your arms drop. I've got my tailbone tucked here. And then I'm going to measure here at the bottom if I'm about my usual distance to the floor. Don't be surprised if you are tighter than usual and you're further from the floor. Just observe it. Don't be critical of it. And then I'm coming up one vertebrae at a time, standing tall at the top here. Okay, let's go one more time. Chin to chest. Tuck that tailbone. Pause at the bottom for me. And bend and straighten the knees about 5 times. We're trying to get some blood flow back into those hamstrings. Inhales and exhales. Okay. And then go ahead and pause. Straight knees coming on back up. All right, this last standing roll down at the bottom, I'm going to grab my elbows. On the way down, stretch through each shoulder blade, right and then left. Don't force it at the bottom, but you're going to grab onto your elbows and then just swing your upper body a little bit left to right, gathering information here. Are you tighter in the right waist, the left waist? Does it show up somewhere else? Last one. Then let your head and arms drop and do that same stretching motion through the shoulder blades as you stack up on top of your hips. Sorry, I should use a hairband here. Next, you can do this piece standing or sitting. And we're just going to do some stretches and dynamic work in the upper body here. I always like to start with good posture, good alignment, which means our chin nods here. So I'm tucking my chin into my throat a bit. It's not taking my chin to chest. And then I just have a good habit now of squeezing my shoulder blades together as I do this, doing it on an exhale, pulling that belly to spine. And what I'm thinking of is stretching out from my occipital nerve here down to my mid-shoulder blades, trying to get longer. You may feel like you're pressing into those muscles. Hopefully you feel like you're lengthening them. From our tech posture, so often our heads are cantilevered out here. And I'm trying to bring the crown of the head higher and my chin into my throat here. Spending a little extra time on this tonight, I know. And then pausing there, I'm going to start rotating this upper arm bone here in the shoulder socket, rolling it to each direction. Okay? Adding that little squeeze of the shoulder blades. Check that your neck isn't traveling forward. You want to keep your ears back over your shoulders in that chin nod. If you feel like you have a double chin, you're doing something right here. Okay. And then I'm going to give myself a little tactile cue, connecting my bottom ribs here together through my upper abs. And I call these rib cage arms. as I lift my arms overhead, not letting the rib cage flare. Okay, and let's go 4 and 3. Don't really care if you're breathing on the way up or down. There is a more clinical way to do it. Just keep breathing tonight. Inhale maybe up, exhale down, and then pause here at the top. Okay, I'm going to slide my shoulder blades up towards my ears and down. All the better if you can use the muscles in the bottom of your shoulder blades to reach and push those shoulder blades up. I'm trying to get out of these muscles. Just notice that that's mostly what you're using. That's the upper trap and some of the neck muscles there. It's good to notice if you're really fatigued there at the end of the day. And then I'm going to go ahead and come over into my nice side stretch. I'm going to reach my opposite hand over here. And big inhale into my fingertips again. One more time. Breathe so big your fingertips expand here. And then back through middle and over to the other side. Wrapping that bottom arm around to your ribs here, not your waist, but your ribs. Those inhales, breathe so big that you expand your fingertips. One more time. And then coming on back through middle. Let's make it a little faster. Exhale, pulse twice. Inhale through middle. Exhale, pulse twice. Inhale through middle. 2 more sets. Big inhale. Exhale, pulse twice. 1 more over to the left here. Okay, and then bring your hands down to the bottom of your rib cage. A lot of times I'll see students wanting to put it just around their waist. Want you holding onto your rib cage. Inhale so big your fingertips expand. Exhale, zip the abs together. 3 more times. You can even think of expanding the back of your rib cage here. And 1 more time. Okay, and then we're going to bring our arms forward. This is your spinal flexion. Think of growing your spine, stretching it out between each vertebrae. And then exhale, come on back. Still stretching up and out of your hips here. Inhale forward, exhale on back. 2 more. Inhales forward, exhale back. Still pulling my belly button to spine here. Inhale here, pulling belly to spine, exhale. Sorry, you're going to add on 1 more. Okay. One more thing is you can be doing these guys on, say, an exercise ball. So I got my big stability ball here. You can be doing all of these on the stability ball. And the reason I bring it up is this next one works particularly nicely if you're on your stability ball. And you're just going to send your hips left and right. You can do this one standing. It's time to find your inner Ricky Martin here. And sending your hips to the left and to the right. My shoulders are about the same place in space, okay? Let's just do that one 2 more times. Again, you can be doing these standing. And 1 more time, okay? Keep finding that inner Ricky Martin, even Shakira. We're going to take that just into rib translation, left and right. Notice if you're feeling really tight in the low back here, those muscles are called the QL, quadratus lumborum. Sounds like a Harry Potter spell. And left and right here, it's like a hook is pulling you out to the sides of the room. It's a little different than a side bend. Good. It's another nice one to be doing on your stability ball as well. Okay, you can bring your hands on top of your shoulders, and then if you've got the wingspan, if you've got a big enough room or hallway all the way out to the sides of the room, keep your hips planted where they are and take this into some rotation or twisting. My usual pattern of exhale, pulse twice, inhale through middle, exhale, pulse twice. Let's go 3 more sets. See if you can feel your oblique abdominals activate to help this twisting motion of your spine. Okay, and 1 more set here. Sliding my shoulder blades down the spine as I do that. Awesome. Okay, from here, come back to standing, and let's just activate the back lines of our legs here. So I'm going into a calf raise. Come up a little higher so you guys can see better. And I'm on a squishy surface, so it's a bit of a stability challenge. If you're on a hardwood floor, this will be easier. If you're on a carpet or a yoga mat, you're gonna feel some shakes, some instability. Use your abs more. Exhale, pull that belly to spine as you come up, and then you're gonna lay down. Hopefully you can see my feet. I'm lifting the balls of my feet. Coming up on the balls of my feet, lowering with control, lifting the balls of my feet. Trying not to hinge and rock in the hips. Support the movement with my core, my powerhouse. So it's not all stretch tonight, it's a little bit of ab work. Okay, let's go 2. Balls of the feet up, and 1. Okay, you've probably spent all day in your head. Let's think about our feet here a second. Press into your first and second toe, maybe lean into them, and then back onto your heels again. And we'll go 3 and 2 into that first and second toe, and 1. Okay, now I'm going to make some circles with my feet here. I'm going to press into that first and second toe, out to the pinky, outside of my heel, inside of my heel, first and second toe. I do these a lot in my group reformer classes, so if these feel familiar, yes, that's exactly what we're doing. As Nancy Myers says, we've got 4 tires on each foot, and I'm pressing through those 4 tires in reverse directions. First and second toe, inside of the heel, outside of the heel, pinky, first and second toe, inside of the heel. So just little circles here. Try and bring your mindfulness into your feet. If they're feeling kind of asleep and like this big static brick, want to start to get some elasticity into them. Maybe just a little note to yourself to take a tennis ball after this session and roll your feet out. Give yourself some TLC, get some blood flow away from your head and get back into your body. Okay, next up, I'm gonna go ahead and lay down. So hopefully you all can see me. This would be a great time to grab a towel if you have one nearby. Let me see. I just have a hand towel. If you've got, a hand towel in the kitchen or in the bathroom, it's a great time to grab it. And I'm going to roll it up like this. So kind of long and narrow here, like a cinnamon roll. And then I'm going to lay back down and put the towel underneath my occipital nerve here, right where my skull, my head connects to my neck. Okay, from there, move any ponytails or buns out of the way. I'm going to press the back of my head here into the mat and go back into those chin nods, trying to stretch out the back of the neck again. I've got my lower body pretty relaxed in what we call neutral spine. If you're familiar with Pilates, you can take it into imprinted, whatever works for you here. Okay, and just pulse into those chin nods 3 more times. Okay, and then holding that chin nod, if it's bringing about any headache symptoms, come out of it a bit and check in with me later. I have a lot to say on that, especially with migraine. That's a pretty interesting symptom if you're starting to feel some headache tension pieces there. Next, I'm going to go ahead and grab my towel, okay, and hold it on both sides, and then nest it against that occipital region. You can give yourself little amounts of traction here into that chin nod and lengthen. Should feel pretty yummy. If it doesn't, you need to follow up with me. We can talk about all these neck pieces more. But I'm feeling a bit of a stretch from between my shoulder blades all the way up to my neck. Stay here, keep playing around with that. I'm going to show you what it looks like from a sitting position, and I'm going to put my hands in that occipital region. And it's just little gentle pieces of traction pulling my neck up to the ceiling a bit. Again, it's gentle, it's not real severe. Okay. So, Kara, that was for you. Let me know if you have any questions on that one as well. From that lying down position, let's just do a couple of upper ab curls or abdominal curls. You can grab onto that towel still and use it as a support to come up. And then whenever I'm using this prop, I'll pause and check that the weight of my head is in my towel here. Exhale, hollowing that belly up. Okay? If you've not bothered with having a towel, this is the position that you'll go in and call it the head hammock. The weight of your head is resting in your hands here. And we're just going to go for 7 more. If you're really strong, maybe you'll bring the back of your shoulder blades up. Okay, and we've got 3 and 2 and 1. Okay, if you've got that squishy ball nearby or a small couch cushion, you can put it underneath your tailbone, your sacrum here. If you don't have one, that's fine. Just lie on the floor nice and normal and flat. You're going to be conscious of what your low back is doing here. And if you've really arched it, you're probably not too comfortable right now. So slide yourself up a little bit and see if you can round the bottom of your spine here. It's also what we call imprinted in Pilates. And then I'm just going to go back and forth through that stretch here. And when I tip my pelvis towards my nose, what do you know? A bit of the glutes will engage there for you. See if you can activate the abs to help out with this. And we're trying to activate these great posture muscles, these functional muscles, and stretch out the low back and get out of using those muscles for strength. And just tell them, hey, thanks for your service. Let's give you a vacation. Let's stretch that out. Okay. Next, I'm going to take one hip bone towards the ceiling and the other towards the floor and switch back and forth. And my props are making noise. Yours will probably as well. Just going to giggle out of it. Back and forth here. And then I'm going to change the emphasis. I'm going to shorten the distance between my hip and my rib cage here, and then do the other side. Back and forth, seeing if I can use my obliques, my side abdominals to create the movement and stretch out my back and my hips here. Okay, notice any tight spots or any places you've got not so great coordination or bad coordination, and then good coordination, and take that as a win. Okay, and now I'm going to make some circles here. So I like to think of having a round plate on my lower stomach between my belly button and the crest of my pelvis. And I'm going to roll a marble around the edge of that plate, and it makes this circular motion. Some parts of it will feel pretty easy, and some will be like, what the what? I've totally lost contact with my body. And then anything in between those two ranges there. We do it because this area gets pretty dysfunctional from sitting all the time. Can get messed up from being at the computer. All sorts of alignment issues come up. After about 4 circles, change directions. Okay? And again, you don't need the ball under your sacrum. You can just be doing these on the floor. And one more time. Awesome. Okay, and then lifting up and off that ball. Let's keep working with those back line of the leg muscles and our core. And we're just going to do 10 stability bridges here. So I'm lifting as one piece, trying to stay out of my low back, lowering as one piece, landing with just the smallest of a crawl space here in my low back. We call that the ladybug crawl space. Up and down. Exhale up, inhale down. We've got 3 and 2 and 1. Okay? Hug your knees to chest here a second. Notice if you're stretching out your low back or maybe muscle fatigue has set in. That'll give you a good idea of maybe what muscles you've been using and compensating with. I'm circling my knees, and then I'm going to circle my knees the other direction here. You can give yourself a nice big hug or very little pressure on the knees. Okay, and then bring your feet back out. We're going to do some more bridges, but this is mobility style. Think of peeling your vertebrae, one vertebrae at a time off of the floor and laying down very slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Okay, still ab work, still back line of the legs and the body here. When I'm up at the top, I don't go so high that I'm on my neck. I'm still on my shoulders here. And then I'm lengthening out my spine as I lower, really making the hamstrings work. And we'll go 5 lowering one vertebrae at a time, landing in a pelvic curl, unwinding to neutral. Pelvic curl, lift one vertebrae at a time. This is 4. And back on down. If you notice your fingers are coming up and you've got this gap like I have in my hands, I call this tarantula hands. Try and stretch the hands out and press into the palms. It's usually a little hint that your shoulders have come forward to help you out. Okay, I've lost count. I'm going to say this is 3 and lowering. And 2 and lowering. Okay, let's make this one really count. Lower nice and slow, upper back, mid back, lumbar spine, sacrum. Awesome. Okay, how are we doing on time? About 20 minutes in. All right, from here, go ahead and take your towel. TheraBand will work just as well. And we're going to go into a hamstring stretch. I have flexed my ankle, so I also get a calf stretch here as I'm doing these. I'm just going to turn my timer on. All these stretches we want to hold for a minimum of 20 seconds. Nice big inhales and exhales. Okay, and then start to take this into some circles. If you have a longer towel, that's probably more comfortable, or a TheraBand. And then if that is a pretty comfortable place for you to be, this is the bigger Pilates circle that this starts to go in. Crossover middle, that hip comes up a bit, hip comes down, go out and around to the side. Crossing up and over, find a place to pause. Down and around, crossing over, and pause. All right, pausing here, I'm going to take it to the other direction. My right hips come up a bit, right hip comes back down, and around, pause. 3 more times. Using that core to stabilize. It's your powerhouse that everything starts from. 2 more. And it also keeps those hips deliberate and fairly still. 1 more. Awesome. Okay. And now let's bring the left foot up. If you started on the left and are switching to the right, no problem. Looking for that hamstring stretch back here, and then flexing at the ankle. Good. Nice long breaths here for me. Inhale into the back of your rib cage, pressing into that mat. Exhale, hollow the belly. 1 more time. Okay, and then start those guided little circles here. Hopefully your towel's a little longer. If you don't have a towel or a TheraBand, no problem. I'm going to circle the other way once or so. Okay, it's up to you if you keep your towel there or not, but let's take this into some bigger circles. If you encounter any nerdiness or pain, stop. Don't keep going. And when I cross over middle, I lift that left hip up just a bit, deliberately bring it back down. Other direction. Cross over middle, lift just a bit, and around. And lift just a bit, find one place to pause. I'm going 2 more times, keep on breathing. Activating that core. And last one. Really yummy place just to hug knee to chest here, stretching out this right leg, feeling some nice hip flexor stretch and reach there. Good. And now the other side. Reaching through that left heel or maybe left toe. 1 more breath. Okay, if you can move that towel, or even better, if you have a foam roller, which I'm going to grab mine, you're just going to lay down on that surface from tailbone all the way to support the back of your head here. So even couch cushions, whatever you can do, because I just want you guys to open up the front of your shoulders here and your rib cage and your collarbones. Okay, you stay there. We're grabbing that foam roller. This is what it will look like. Okay. Tailbone's completely on. And the back of my head is completely on. So, just starting out here, if this is just too much stretch, you can grab some pillows and pad up your elbows here. You can also bring your elbows closer down to your hips and it should be less intense. Try and bookmark this one in your mind, and this might be someplace that you spend, 3 to 5 minutes after this virtual class and you just lie here. It's a great one to do during a lunch break and at the end of every day. Correct so many postural problems and long-term tightness caused by that work at the computer. And I used to be a desk warrior, so really empathize with that one. Gonna go back into something we did in the very, very beginning called rib cage arms. And I think of bringing my ribs down, knitting them together with my abs, and then as I lift my arms overhead, I don't let the ribs flare. Having your back on a roller or some cushions hopefully will bring some awareness into if you're arching your spine off of that roller. That's why we do it here. Okay, one more time. Okay. And then bring your fingertips up towards the ceiling. I'm going to start on the left side. Hopefully you can see how I'm reaching it upwards and then sliding it back down into the shoulder socket. Now I'm going to reach the right upwards and slide it back on down. Back to left and then right. Okay? Just back and forth here. It feels like a little bit of muscle work at the bottom of the shoulder blades. Stretching out between the shoulder blades, the rhomboids here. Okay, I'm going to go 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now I'm going to do both hands at the same time. Reach up towards the ceiling and then really hug that foam roller between your shoulder blades. Reach up to the ceiling, hug that roller. Okay, and I'm pretty stable on this roller. If it's wiggling back and forth, maybe slow down. See if you can activate your abs, your core a bit more to help you out. That's a big reason why I put my students on the rollers. You've got to use your core to stabilize at times. Maybe you wouldn't be thinking about it. This is going to be my last one. Okay, the next one's a little tricky. I call it the nervy arm stretch. And I flare my fingers out to the sides of the room. So hopefully you guys can see that, okay? You'll only want to go until you find a tingle either along your wrist, your forearm, or your elbows. So you don't want to go till that normal feeling of a muscle stretch, but just that tingle. Some of you it may be here, some of you may be able to go out here, and then bring your fingertips back together. Let's go 4 more times. Keep those shoulder blades down towards your back pockets. Try not to let shoulders come up towards ears. Good. Find that core work while you're doing this. And 1 more. All right. Next move is called helicopters. My palms are facing each other and they're about shoulder distance apart. And they're just going to go away from each other. And then circle and go by each other. Half circles here. 2 more. I know this is making your brain work hard at the end of the day here. Okay, be mindful of what direction your hands are going and switch them. You can do it. And then if you've gotten totally lost, just do some arm circles here. But if you're with me, we're doing 2 more helicopters in this direction. Awesome. And there's all sorts of other foam roller stuff that you can do here. I've got some videos with it on my YouTube channel about working on some balance work here. It's something I really like to do on restorative days. This is a little preview of what it looks like. and you really come back into your body and get your balance systems firing again. Kind of gets everything to calm down and feel more stable. So anyways, a little preview of that work. Okay, slide off your foam roller safely, and then you can get it out of the way. Go ahead and come to side lying here for me. And then we're just going to do a couple of circles here, keeping our shoulders stacked. I'm going forward 2 to 4 in each direction. Okay, that was 3, and then other direction here. Keep on breathing. I've got my hips stacked. I've got my shoulders stacked. So my shoulders aren't folded forward or back. They're just nice and on top of each other. Next move here is called telescope arms. Sliding that top hand along that bottom arm, and then now I'm deliberately opening up my rib cage, possibly looking behind me. Taking that top arm, and as soon as it can, slides along your body and comes forward. We're going 2 more times here. Okay, and 2 more times. Open up that rib cage. Try and keep the hips stacked. That'll give you more stretch through your waist. And that was the last one on that side. Good. Okay, from here, let's take it over to the other side. All right, and we're just going to start with those 2 to 4 arm circles in each direction. So still this idea that my shoulder blades are stacked, or my shoulder sockets are stacked. And reverse. 1 more. Good. Okay, then back to telescope arms. We'll scoot down here a bit for you guys. Opening up that rib cage in front, sliding your arm across your body, back and forth here. See if you can feel some stretch between the shoulder blades. Nice big inhale when you're open here, and we'll do 1 more. Good, 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 good. Okay, let's keep playing around here. Time to do something that's a little joyful. It's called rolling like a ball. I'm going to sit up and put my feet barely on the mat, and that's called your balance point. Sitting up tall, my knees are open, and my hands are behind my thighs here. Make sure you've got some room to roll here. Watch my first one and make sure you're safe within your space. Hollowing my belly, giving myself a little bit of a spine massage here. And I have a hair clip in the way. And back to your shoulder blades. Don't do this on a hard floor. You want to have a mat or carpet underneath you. And then once you figure it out, just a nice little back massage. I'm going to go 2 more times. Nice little move to store up for later. Okay. All right. And then from here, let's come to seated. And I have my feet a little wider than shoulder distance apart, maybe the distance of your yoga mat if that's what you're using today. And you're going to pretend you have a beach ball or a wine barrel here. And we'll go for 4 sets of these. This is called spine stretch forward. Reach up and over, maybe feeling a stretch all along your back line here. And then sit up tall. Really pick up your ribs off your waist. Exhale, pulse twice. 2 more sets. Exhale, pulse twice, inhale, and last one. And then what do you know? We're going back to our twist motion here. If your hands can't go all the way out because of shoulder soreness, or maybe you're hitting a wall, you can bring your hands on top of your shoulders. And you'll exhale, pulse twice. Inhale through middle. Okay, just notice anywhere it's sore. If you tend to be back here on your tailbone, that's something to know. That's something to work on long term. You can bend your knees to see if that will help you sit up taller. And 1 more. Okay, this next move is called saw. So it's about taking one arm over to the opposite foot, to the outside of the pinky toe. Okay, and then you come through middle, inhale here. Exhale, reach twice. Inhale through middle. Exhale. I'm still drawing my belly button to my spine, activating my core as I go into the movement. All right, we'll do one more on each side. A little bit of shoulder work here too. I can feel it burning. Okay, and then some leg stretches, and while we're sitting up, I want to do one more upper body stretch, and then we'll get to those leg stretches. This is like my favorite stretch to do at home. It mimics being on the reformer. If you don't have a foam roller, that's okay. This is called a Z-sit here. If something is up with your knees or you've had a knee replacement, it's fine to be seated straight, okay? So just know lots of modifications you can do. If you don't have a foam roller, this is what the stretch looks like, okay? So just have fun going there. Inhale into this exposed side. If you have a foam roller, take your forearm, put it on that roller, and yum, you get to go out here. Nice big inhale. Exhale, coming on up. 3 more times. You've been taking such good care of your body the last half an hour. Hope you're really starting to feel zen here. And feel good about taking care of yourself amongst all this craziness in the world. Okay, from here, I'm going to rotate my rib cage and look at the floor. Widen your palms or your forearms, and then you can come in and out. Careful not to arch into the low back, but really round your spine as you come in. 2 more times. Round your spine as you come in. Awesome. Guess what? We get to do it on the other side. Again, I love this move. So, Z-sit here. Again, if your legs are straight out in front of you or you're in some sort of crisscross applesauce, no biggie. Just pay attention to any lumbar tightness and don't take it too far. You can have your hand down here on the mat and just go into your mermaid stretch. Or if you do have that foam roller, slide on out and come back on in. While your ribs are nice and open here, use that inhale. I'm going to pause here, rotate my rib cage, my thoracic spine, so I can look at the floor. Both forearms are either on the floor or the roller, or palms are on the floor. And then using this rotation to come in. Inhale as I go out, exhale on in. Okay, thank you, roller. Gonna set you to the side again. If you have that long towel or TheraBand nearby, grab it again. I'm using this from the the Fletcher method. It's a Fletcher towel. I'm gonna put one foot through that towel or TheraBand. If you don't have any props, just have your foot up in the air. My stabilizing leg is just hanging out here, maybe pressing that heel into the mat. And then try and keep this hip bone on the mat, and we're looking for that IT band stretch out here. And the foot needs to be straight, knee straight, and kind of low to find it. If your foot's way up here, you might not find it, and it'll only be back here, which is worthwhile. It's just something different. Okay, once you have found it, try and breathe nice and deep. For me, that's into my left side. And then I'm going to point and flex here. If that's too nervy, don't take it too far. That might be some sciatica kicking in. Okay, and then for me it's appropriate. I'm going to circle twice in each direction. And that's my toes moving around my ankles. Yeah. Okay, and then you can slide that rope, a yoga rope works fine, TheraBand towel, behind your thigh here. I'm taking my right ankle over my left knee, and this is my glute stretch over around my tush, my backside on the right. I'm pulling in with this rope and pushing this knee out. And this might be like, wow, hello. And that's all the sitting, whether it's been in your bed, on your computer, or if you actually have a workstation. You can remember this one and take care of yourself and do it at other times. You guys keep holding. Just for your information, you can do this stretch at a desk. This is what it looks like. Okay, and you can come here. So that's one to think of. You can ask me about that later. I can send you a picture so you remember to do it tomorrow, that kind of thing. All right, and then from here, we were here. Gently take that shape left and right. And just notice where it's tight. Make plans to take care of yourself. And that's the last one. Okay, we're going to take it now over the right foot. Keep that right hip on the mat. Left heel is digging into the floor and stretching across for that IT band through here. I'm going to breathe nice and deep into the right side of my lungs. And start to point and flex here. Again, if it's too nervy, take that foot piece away. And then some ankle circles, toes around the ankle, and switch directions. All right, so those are the stretches on our back. Go ahead and roll on over. Let's take it into all fours here. This is called quadruped. My wrists are underneath my shoulders and my knees are underneath my hips here. And I'm going to squeeze the shoulder blades together and then press them apart. And so my rib cage just drops as a result. My head's along for the ride. Again, it's squeezing the shoulder blades together, pressing them apart. And since this is my job, I've got a lot of mobility here. If this is your first time doing this or the first time in a while, it may just be something really small like that. Trying to find those muscles around your shoulder blade to create that coordination, okay? And then pausing. Now just take this into cat. Nice big back arch. I've really pulled my belly button into my spine. And then think of those bridges and that spinal articulation and take this into cow. A little bit of a turnout with the tailbone looking up at the horizon and sliding the shoulder blades down your spine. Back to cat. Exhale into cow, still pulling belly to spine. I wouldn't want you to feel like you're arching the low back so much it hurts. Back off. Use the abs more if that's what's happening. Okay, 2 more times. And then find the halfway point between those two. That's usually our neutral spine. Check that your wrists are still underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips. This next one is called tail wag. I'm going to lift my right ankle, keep your right knee on the mat, and look over your right shoulder. Still working with the right ankle. Wag it over to the left side of your body, look over your left shoulder. And then you just wag back and forth here. Going for a total of 4. Okay, and then that foot comes down. You want to check that your knees are still back under your hips. And then repeat with your left ankle, pivoting the left knee. 2 more sets here. Okay, and then we're going to stretch the hip flexor. I think it's nice to use a towel or something here, especially if you're on a hard floor. If you're young, this might not be necessary, but we're going for a shape something like this. And then we're going to come forward a bit, looking for that stretch here in the front of our right leg. If you have a coffee table nearby that you want to put your hands on for stability or a wall, that's fine. We're just going to hold it. If you have good balance here and you're like, I got this, go ahead and lift that inside hand on up. And if you've got this, then go ahead and lift the other hand on up. Okay, let's go 2 more long breaths here. And then I want to stretch the quad out a bit more. You can do this one standing and holding a wall. Some of us that are flexible, we can go to here, and so that's what I'm going to do. Again, you could be standing on this leg and just holding this foot up towards your glute here. 2 more long breaths. All right, we're in the home stretch here. I'm going to move my little knee pad over to the other side. Bring that foot out in front of you. I'm starting in kind of a 90-degree angle here, and then finding that stretch in the hip flexor on my left side. Make sure you keep your balance here, no odd twisting in the torso. Hold on to a table in front of you, and then if you're feeling balance, let's lift that left arm on up to the ceiling. If this feels good here, right arm comes up as well. Okay, and then remember, you've got options here. You can go ahead and come to standing and bring that left ankle on in towards your body, or you can follow along with me here. Okay, 2 more long breaths. And 1 more. Okay, and then bring your foot back on down. Careful on this knee here. I'm going to bring it back to standing. We're going to wrap up and end with a standing roll down. If you do have a foam roller around, go ahead and just keep on going without me. Maybe roll out your quads and your hamstrings. There's so much work there you can do. There's also like a 10 minutes on that on YouTube at the Begin Again channel, if that's something that you have time for. And I have no bias. If you have a cocktail or a glass of wine by you while you're doing all this work, more power to you. Just don't fall off the roller. Okay, so from our standing position, hip distance apart, we're going to end where we started with your standing roll down. So tucking chin to chest, my abs are on. I'm not letting my tailbone go back. It's actually tucked under. And then pausing here at the bottom. Do you feel closer to the floor? Not just feel, but are you closer to the floor? Are you feeling more stretched out? Maybe where do you need to do a little bit more work? And then coming up to standing. All right, well, thank you all for joining me. Thank you for taking care of yourselves for, let's see here, 45 minutes? Get back to the actual watch setting. 47 minutes. Really, really great job. If you have the inclination, roll your feet out a bit more with a tennis ball or maybe some dog toy. And then, you know, that foam roller of opening up the front of your body here. And then maybe some foam rolling on your glutes and hamstrings and all that good stuff. I want to keep supporting everyone in our community. Let me know what kind of stuff you all might need, and I'll keep doing these classes. I do have ab work tomorrow, Thursday at 8. Friday at 2, and then again Saturday. I'll probably move to Zoom next week, but for now everything's free and it's on Instagram. And I also am putting something together that maybe we can work out with our kids who are bouncing off the walls too. So again, let me know what y'all need. I love you so much, and I really hope everyone's staying healthy and sane. Take care of each other.